Good evening and welcome to RFL. I am Richard French and thank you very much for watching tonight. Now, over the last 4+ years, we've been dealing seemingly every day with something related to a scandal, corruption, controversy, a never-ending assault on norms. Now, even with that as a primer, this weekend we saw something I never thought we would see. A president masquerading as a mob boss trying to shake down election officials in a state and rig an election that he already lost.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. You know, I mean, having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, you know, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president, okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, really respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
Just to state the obvious, every single thing the president said was an unmitigated lie. Okay, and apparently that was one of 18 phone calls that he had put towards Georgia officials to try and get them to reverse the results of a multiple certified election out of Georgia that's gone before the courts, recanvassed, etc., always coming back to the same result. But nonetheless, I never thought I'd see the day when the Watergate tapes seemed quaint. Now, I know people have compared Trump's attempted shakedown to that of a mob boss, but, you know, I saw The Godfather this past weekend, and I was struck that at least Don Corleone seemed to have lines that he wouldn't cross. What have we, or more specifically, the GOP done? Now, don't you remember Republican promises after the 2016 election that, listen, don't worry, Trump the candidate, he'll change. Trump the president will transform into a statesman with that ugly campaign behind him. Or how about after his impeachment? Oh, he'd learn his lesson. He's going to be different going forward. Or all those promises just a few months ago in the fall that Trump, he'd accept the results of November and he would usher in a peaceful transition if he lost. All were lies. They told us and they told themselves. Trump, he telegraphed he would be an arsonist of American democracy, indifferent if his lies and baseless conspiracies destroyed norms, destroyed faith in our election processes, and apparently destroyed the decency of the political party he leads like an aimless dictator. Please, tonight I ask of you one thing. I know it's easy, but don't lump in what Trump has tried to do with this election, punctuated by this weekend's shocking abuse of power, with everything we've seen him do before in the past 4 years. Our president, our commander-in-chief, he is trying to rig an election in broad daylight. He's trying to disenfranchise you and me, we the people, and he's trying to steal and cheat our constitutionally protected rights. Be shocked. Now forget that the fraud can't add. He's lost just about every single court case, including at the Supreme Court. And even if he found other crooks to help him with this Georgia heist, he won't. He still loses. He loses the election going away. No. By now, none of us, including yours truly, get to be surprised by the depths this charlatan will go to keep his Ponzi scheme of a presidency going. What we do have the right to be shocked is by how many Republicans are willing to go along to get along. Even I am shocked. As of this hour, 12 Republican senators you see on your screen and 140 plus representatives will play along with the national disgrace, and they will object to decertifying or certifying a free and a fair election. So what I'd like to do now is some basic civics. Every lawmaker on Capitol Hill, regardless of party, they take an oath of office at their swearing in. What I thought I'd do is read you what they promised to uphold. Quote, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. Now, by being party to this doomed coup, these lawmakers aren't merely disgraceful, they're playing their pathetic roles in an act of sedition. Sedition is defined as follows: incitement or discontent or rebellion against a government. Any action, especially in speech or writing, promoting such discontent or rebellion. Now, the motives of these lawmakers depends on their agenda. For some, like Ted Cruz, who definitely knows better, he's trying to position himself as the heir to the Trump base in 2024, or he's dying to have his own run for president. It's a curious bit of bootlicking considering what Senator Cruz said about Trump just in 2016.
This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. He lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth.
He was actually right then, and he'd be right now if he said the same thing, but now he's not. Now, Cruz is bringing firewood to the Trump bonfire. Listen to what fellow Republican Senator Ben Sasse said about guys like Cruz and other Republican colleagues in the Senate that are scarring, they are imprinting on our democracy. The president and his allies are playing with fire. If you make big claims, you had better have the evidence. But the president doesn't, and neither do institutionalist arsonist members of Congress who will object to the Electoral College vote. Let's be clear what is happening here, he continues. We have a bunch of ambitious politicians who think there's a quick way to tap into the president's populist base without doing any real long-term damage. But they're wrong. And this issue is bigger than anyone's personal ambitions. Adults don't point a loaded gun at the heart of legitimate self-government. Again, from a fellow Republican. But it's not just political ambition at play here. Yes, some mental midgets on the Hill actually believe the fantasies, even when confronted with the facts, but more so others are just spineless. And that brings us to our final term. We all know it, it's called cowardice. Cowardice is defined as lack of courage to face danger, difficulty, opposition, pain, etc. So scared of a Trump tweet or, God forbid, a primary challenge, these timid souls knowingly retell El Jefe's lies, and after the QAnon crowd follow their cue and scream, "Stop the steal," these same lawmakers then turn around and say, "See, these people are outraged." So after playing their shameful role in fomenting the fear, they pathetically cite the outrage that they and Trump manufactured as reason to go along with this farce. Listen to what tragically a House Republican outlier, he's in the minority now, Adam Kinzinger, a Republican from Illinois, had to say about a choice that he made about putting country before party.
The president doesn't want to admit defeat, and nobody would. But he's currently trying to discredit the election results through falsehoods and conspiracies. As someone entrusted to lead, I have a choice. I can be quiet and I can survive by taking the easy path, or I can speak up and lead without concern for the consequences. I choose to lead without fear.
He's choosing to honor his oath of office. And the fact that he's in the minority in the House among Republicans is, to me, as shocking as the call itself that Trump made. So I get to my final term, and for you veterans out there, you know this well: stolen valor. It is a term associated with frauds who pass themselves off as military heroes in word or dress, when in fact they never earned those medals. It takes a wretched coward to steal the honor brave men and women earned in defense of our country. On Wednesday, we will see such on live TV. A proud, once political party debasing itself, pretending to be patriots, while in actuality, they're burning the oaths that they swore to uphold and torching the democracy they promised to protect. Donald Trump is an unquestionable national disgrace, and history will remember that. But for his aiders and abettors, history will also remember that he did not act alone. This shameful chapter of American history has far too many authors. All right, folks. We'll go to Georgia a little bit later on in the program for those critical 2 Senate races. But up next, a sitting U.S. Senator, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, he'll join me to discuss the behavior of his Republican colleagues, denigrating democracy and kissing up to Trump instead of doing the right and decent thing.